Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy EFL Show, your home for all things fantasy football in the EFL, sponsored and produced by that Millwall podcast, a show made by the fans for the fans. And as you can see, I have my co-host back with me after a couple of weeks out. Me and Ben haven't been together. We've been running solo with our guests, but we are back together, which I'm glad about. Ben, how are you, mate? It's good to see you. It's been a minute.
Likewise, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Just us this week. No guests. Yeah, looking forward to see how you got on this week, mate. I haven't actually checked where you are in the league, mate, because it's hurting my neck looking down so much.
Yeah, we'll come on to that, I guess, mate. But and I'm hurting mine looking up, which is not fun for me. But there we go. Yeah, and as Ben rightly said, we haven't got a guest segment this week. Plans changed there, but not to worry. The show must go on, and it goes on in a slightly diluted week this week. International break, Ben. We don't have any championship fixtures, and we have a lot of postponements in the lower leagues. But there is a fixture list that we'll come on to, so it should make the game week 5 picks just that little bit tighter.
Absolutely, mate. What we got? 13 matches in total this week across League One and League Two. So yeah, not many at all. I'm sure there'll be a lot of players that will be picked in the same teams. Obviously, a lot of changes for a lot of people. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what people do and how they get on this week, mate.
No, exactly, mate. It's definitely going to make for them low risk, high reward picks, them low percentage players that could see the difference in getting yourself a win this week a lot more important. So let's just jump straight in then, mate. Let's have a look at game week 5 now. We're 5 weeks in. It seems like the season's getting very just flying by, which is painful. But let's have a look at your team first. We'll go with your game week 4 team. Talk to us through it, because you finished up with 61 points. That's pretty good. That's a lot better than what I did. You went with your usual Alfie May as your captain, but talk to us about the rest of your team.
Absolutely, mate. It was actually a late change to my captaincy, which is a little bit annoying. I did have Luke Molyneux, which would have seen me absolutely smash it. And I made a late change, went with Alfie May. I also brought in Latte Laff, and he only come on for 20 minutes. So a little bit disappointed with him there. I think I highlighted him as a player to watch for last week. But yeah, pretty happy, mate. As I say, Luke Molyneux got me 19 points. Alfie May got me 14 as captain. Had Leeds in there as one of my games. And yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that Burnley couldn't secure the home win against, obviously, arch rivals Blackburn. But yeah, not a bad week in total, mate. 61 points. I'll take that.
Yeah, no, not bad at all. And if you did captain Molyneux, I think he ended up with something like 39 points or 38 points, which was more than my game week 4 team's total. So, yeah, not something that
What happened then, mate? What did we do? What did we not do? Who did we bring in?
Wait, let's have a look at it. Let's just go to it, because it doesn't make for very good reading. I picked Alfie, mate, and I didn't captain him. I put him at my vice captain because I thought Crowley down at Notts County is having a good season, but he only picked up 4 points. Alfie Doherty at Luton is another player who was starting to find his feet again, picked up 1 point. My player to watch last week, I had Sadlier at Wickham, and although the result was a fair result, again, nothing to write home about with the 1 point. The only person that did stand out for me was Belingo of the Bristol City centre half. He stood out for me and picked me up 10 points, but yeah, it's definitely, it's nothing to write home about. Only 30 points. It leaves me sitting way off, as you said, in the table. And then again, and Charlton, a team that have started really, really well this season, they picked up nothing. To my shock horror, they picked up no points there, and that was a team that I thought was really going to push on. Along with Stockport County, who were sitting comfortably at the top of the league, they managed to pick me up 3 points. But overall, mate, look, terrible day at the office, and I hope that game week 5 is something that I can try and build on, because I can't really get any worse, mate. No.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The as we said, I think this week it's going to be about probably your low percentage picks in terms of how many people have got them in the side, and try and nick a few that way this week. But yeah, a couple of results to look back on last week. Certainly the Charlton one. I think again I called it out that you never know what you're going to get with Reading. Certainly with everything that's been going on off the field. So yeah, but I certainly expected Charlton to probably beat them. So yeah, probably a bit unlucky there, mate.
No, I agree, and that is, we're all fantasy football experts, but really it's a game of choice, isn't it? It is just a game of choice, and there's some big results that happened in that week. Wrexham picking up a 2-0 win away at Peterborough, another big result for them. They look to be doing the business again this season. AFC Wimbledon have suddenly turned a bit of a corner. They're picking up points as well, and Bolton Wanderers losing out at Exeter City. So you look all around, and the results just that you couldn't predict.
Typical EFL, mate.
Exactly that, mate. And I think that's the right term to use. It is typical EFL, and it's going to be even harder this week with League One and League Two being so open compared to the Championship, especially when I'd like to think that our knowledge on League One, League Two is pretty good, but Championship's mainly our forte, so we're going to be pushing the boat out with the knowledge this week and with our research. But no, mate, look, I totally agree. It's it can only get better for me anyway. So let's have a look at game week 5 then, because I want to put game week 4 behind me. We'll have a look at your team first. You've changed that. You've gone with a 2-2-2 formation,
mate. It's worked. I haven't changed it since game week 1, so I'm sticking with it, mate. Again, I think we spoke about it on the previous week that a lot of people seem to be going for the 2-3-1. But yeah, no reason really to change at the moment, mate. It's been working, so yeah, stick with the tried and tested.
Yeah, definitely, man. My team, I'm not going to come into my team yet, but I can see what you've done, and which is the same thing that I've done. But you've used some good game management there, mate. You've used some good coaching. You looked back at Molineux in game week 4, and you thought, I should have captained him. And in game week 5, you have.
Yeah, there's always an element of have I missed my game week with that pick, right? But yeah, I've gone with him this week. I might change him late on. I haven't decided yet, but Aaron Wildig had a really good game week last week as well. He had 18 points himself. He got a goal and had 5 interceptions last week, so had 18 points, as I say. So I'm in an R in between him, but I think I'm going to stick with Molineux. As you can see down the bottom, mate, I have picked Donny as one of my teams this week to beat Gillingham at home. So, yeah, going to stick with Luke Molineux. I think, as of now, as of time of recording, I'm sticking with him as my captain. I have brought someone else in that I picked out for players to watch this year. So, Mickey Demetriou's coming in. Crew haven't started particularly well, but I did highlight as a defender, he had a really high goal and assist output last year. Scored last week against Bromley, made 9 clearances and had 3 blocks, which again was a 13-point week for him. So, again, could argue that I might have missed the boat there, but he's come in this week for a home game against Morecambe. As I said, got Aaron Wildig in, and then I've changed, obviously, the front 2 just to reflect the lack of games this week. So I've got Jody Jones. Again, he was another one that I picked out for my season players to watch. And again, I've married up my Jack Marriott pick with my Wrexham pick. So hopefully he can stick a couple in the back of the net.
Yeah, agree, mate. And the Demetriou pick is an interesting one, as you say, because he does pop up with a goal. I mean, he got 13 points last week. He averages almost 8 points every week, but he's still only 2.8% selected in fantasy teams this season, and he's totaled 31 points, which is right up there with some of the best players in the EFL at the moment. Jack Marriott's an interesting one because he's listed there as a striker, but he gets them midfielder points as well because he drops back in. He can get them interceptions, get them clearances, and get up the field, and also get assists and goals. So I like what you've done there. It's definitely a formula that's been working for you 100%. tried and tested amongst most of the teams that I've seen. So, no, I totally agree with your picks. I don't think anybody could argue them. Talk to us about Wrexham and Doncaster. Why Wrexham and Doncaster? They're your two picks for your wins.
Yeah, probably quite obvious, really, mate. Certainly Wrexham. Look, Wrexham have made a great start to League One, haven't they? I want to say surprise result last week against Peterborough. We always talk about them from a both teams to score standpoint. So I was quite surprised that Wrexham managed to keep a clean sheet against the free scoring Peterborough. Certainly, given the fact that Peterborough were at home. But yeah, as I say, look, Wrexham have started the year as they finished last year, right? And they've just carried it on into League One. So yeah, went with them. Shrewsbury, they will be in everyone's coupon this week if you're having a bet, won't they, Wrexham? So I've gone with them. And yeah, look, same as Donny, really. They've continued this year as they finished last year. As I said, good result last week. Molineux flying. So yeah, Gillingham might be a bit of a sticky one for them, but yeah, it was a bit of a it was a tough decision this week on the team picks. So yeah, I went with Donny and Wrexham as probably the two most obvious teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you look at the fixtures that they got, Shrewsbury and Gillingham both coming off of a win, both coming off of keeping a clean sheet as well. And Gillingham look to be just as high flying at the moment. So but this is the point of the season where, with the international break, you've got to take these risks with these picks. You can only pick teams 5 times a season. And you're going to have to pick a risky game. But, both these clubs, Doncaster and Wrexham, as you said, they're still doing the business. They're still scoring goals. So it could be a good reward for picking some risky games there, mate. I'm fully in agreement with that. Mate. It looks very good. So we'll come on to my team now. And I've stuck with it. I've stuck with the 2-3-1. I can't change it up. I still think it's going to come good. And I've got very much the same sort of thoughts with yourself. I put Molineux in there, I put him in as captain. I brought Jack Payne in of Bristol Rovers, put him as my vice captain because I
actually had him in, mate, and took him out. So yeah, he was one I was looking at.
Yeah, I like what he's doing. I really do. I've stuck with Crowley again because again I don't think he's going to be an underperformer much this season, if at all. And I know he only got me a couple of points last week, but I'm not going to drop him for that. And then I've gone with some real assurances at the back. Like Jones for Charlton has been phenomenal, one of the best defenders in the division, and the same with Cleworth of Wrexham, one of the better, higher scoring defenders in the division. And Jody Jones up top, one of your players to watch for the season. I just think he has the midfielder attributes to go along with the striker attributes, can pick up some extra points there. So they're my picks for this week. I've gone with players that have performed more than anything. I've not gone with many risks. I've gone with performance. And these are the best at what they do at the moment going into game week 5. So I'm hoping that it sends me up the tail a bit, because at the moment I can't afford to take risks. Let's be honest. I'm staring down into the abyss. I need to go for surefire picks. So this is what I've gone with. And my 2 teams to go with, I picked Wrexham like yourself. I think Wrexham are on the way up. They're doing exactly what I thought they would do. They've got good financial input. They've also got very good players. So a good fan base. They get a good crowd every week. So they seem to be soaring. And I picked Charlton. And this is an interesting one for Charlton, because I've picked them before and I wasn't quite, they didn't pick me up any points because they lost. But they're playing a Rotherham team that haven't really lit the League One up yet. A team relegated, that normally a yo-yo team, go up and down. But I fancy Charlton to do the business at home to Rotherham. I really do. And I don't like picking Charlton every week, but, they seem to have a good formula at the moment, mate. So, yeah, that's my 2 game picks, everyone, and my game week 5 picks.
Very nice, mate. Well, look, I think you're at the point where you got to start climbing that league, mate. Otherwise, people start to think we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of fantasy football, is it? We could sit here and give all the picks in the world and so on, and it could come up trumps and we look really good, or it could fall off a cliff, and that's the beauty of fantasy football. So hopefully this week we stand ourselves in good stead. But now I want to take a look at some players that probably stood out for game week 4, some players that probably people weren't really looking at, um, pending the results. So, what have you got for us? Who have you got that stood out for you this week, mate? That people maybe when the championship comes back after the international break should probably have a little look at.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And well, this player goes in line with my sort of game of the week last week, and that was Duncan Watmore. As we know, we've mentioned a few times now, Jay. We're obviously Millwall fans, so probably a bit of a biased one here. But look, he started the season exceeding expectations, certainly from a personal perspective. I was unsure he could put up these sorts of numbers for us, but yeah, look, he's absolutely flying at the moment. The international breaks probably come at the worst time for him. The Fantasy EFL obviously highlighted the work he's been doing so far, and the numbers he's been putting up. So yeah, Duncan Watmore for me in the Championship. Obviously scored last week, another good performance for us. So yeah, Duncan Watmore for me, mate, in the Championship.
Yeah, 4 goals, 2 assists. He just looks like a rejuvenated player under Neil Harris, a player that probably last season looked like you'd get 30 minutes out of him and then would need to bring him off. And this season, he looks strong as an ox after 70 minutes still. And it's definitely something that Millwall have needed to get out of Duncan Watmore. They've needed more goal output. Or goal input, should we say, and he's done that in abundance, and credit to him because he's been phenomenal. So totally agree. What sort of game stood out for you last week, mate? What game did you look back on and think, oh, I didn't expect that, or you did expect that?
Well, as I say, mate, my game I did put us down. Obviously, beating Sheffield Wednesday 3-0 at home might be a bit biased on that one. But look, I did pick Sheffield Wednesday to be my sort of outsiders to watch this year in the Championship. That's not going too well at the moment, and by all accounts, they didn't offer much at all against us. Sorry, Sheffield Wednesday fans that are listening in. But yeah, look, it was a dominant performance from Millwall. It's a team we've already touched upon, really, mate. And I did mention this a second ago, but a game that I was surprised with the result was Peterborough away. Look, they're just flying, aren't they? And as we've already said, at the minute, it's looking like they're going to be right up there come end of the season. I was surprised again, as I've already mentioned, that Peterborough didn't score against them at home. But yeah, cracking result for Wrexham. And as I said, looking like they're going to be fighting out at the right end of the table for back-to-back promotions.
No, no, man, it would be absolutely crazy. And credit to them if they do. I know they've had a financial injection into the club, but they still operate in a fairly decent manner. Their performances are very good. They've got good players, and like I said, the crowd down there and the stadium, it's setting them up to be a Championship football club in the near future. No, brilliant, and I can't disagree, and I'm sure many people can't disagree with how Duncan Watmore or Wrexham are performing at the moment. So let's take a look at some players that you've got for us, Ben, and for the viewers for in our diluted game week 5 schedule. Who do you think, outside of the players we put in our teams, or if they are in our teams, who do you think people should be taking a look at?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And probably 2 that I have mentioned because they're in my team this week, right? So Aaron Wildig, I highlighted him earlier. He got a goal last week, a goal the week before, so trending in the right direction, certainly for a midfielder. So, yeah, I've picked out Aaron Wildig and then Jack Marriott as well, obviously, again, for reasons that I've already ran through. So, a goal and an assist last week. So, yeah, someone to put in this week in this very, very sparse game week. So, yeah, they're my 2, mate. How about yourself? Who have you picked out or a game to watch?
I've actually gone with a game to watch this week rather than a player to watch because I enjoy the segment that you bring with the players to watch, and that's something we have going forward. So I'm going to sort of concentrate on games to watch. And the game I've gone to watch this week, I could have pictured Charlton versus Rotherham or something like that, but I've gone for Barnsley at home to Bristol Rovers this week. Both coming off of a win. There's one place that separates them in the table. Both played 4, 1-2, drew 1, lost 1. They're both on 7 points. It's only goal difference. I think 2 goals separates them. So that one looks to me like being a nail biter in the fight for the playoffs. It's a very evenly matched, 2 very evenly matched teams. Not one that I'd like to have my last bet on to survive. Could go either way. So yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to this week, just for an unknown perspective. I'm going with Barnsley versus Bristol Rovers.
Nice, mate. Yeah, probably one that both of them are looking at, thinking. So Barnsley obviously made the playoffs last year, right? They'll want to be up there again come end of the season. Bristol Rovers, a team that I always feel like that got massive support, haven't they? A huge fan base down there. And one, again, I suppose their aspiration this year will be sort of looking up rather than down. So, yeah, couldn't disagree with that, mate. A game that I've picked too this week, again, we've already kind of mentioned them, but Donny and Gillingham, Donny are just flying, aren't they, as we've already said. Just continued as they finished last year. Fantastic result last week against Huddersfield. So, yeah, Donny and Gillingham for me, mate.
No, I agree, mate, and these might not be such out there picks or risky picks. You know, this isn't going to be breaking news picks, but this is the reality. These clubs, these players are doing well, and they're still not getting the love from the fantasy teams, although they will this week because of the limited games and players that we have to select from due to international break. But yeah, these are players that you shouldn't really, or teams that you shouldn't really be just looking for to put in this diluted schedule, but going forward when the championship does come back as well, mate, because of how they've been performing. So no, totally agree there, mate. That's finished up with game week 5, but I want to take a look at the league table. You did touch on it earlier. It doesn't make good reading for me, but Take It Eze is sitting at the top of the league. He's overtook In for a Shock, who've been sitting at the top of the table for weeks now. We have had a change of the guard at the top of the table. Take It Eze. Let's take a look at his team. Captain Dalfi May. The results last week for Take It Eze weren't very good at all. I mean, you look at the amount of points that have got there. Only one player over 10 points. It was the Leeds United and Birmingham results that really done him a favour, picking up 9 and 7 respectively, but sitting on 252 points, there isn't much difference. And then down in 7th place, mate, we've got yourself.
I'm hovering, mate. I'm hovering, trying to break back into that top 5. Yeah, and look, this week's going to be the key week, right? Because as we said, if you're not overly clued up on your League One, your limited League 2 games, yeah, you could see a bit of a swing this week, but might even get some people that forget about it as well, not make too many changes. So, yeah, look, hoping for a big swing, hoping with the changes that I've made, I can break into that top 5 again, mate. That'll be nice.
Yeah, no, totally agree. But for right now, going into game week 5, Take It Eze sits top of the table, and you can see his team up there that they picked for last week that didn't really shine, but still puts them top of the table. In for a Shock drops out of top space and finds herself in 2nd position, whereas JPFC and Waymaker FC have climbed the table into 3rd and 4th place, respectively, with the Elf Army sitting stagnant, not moving, on 5th place. Poseidon, someone who sat at the top, who looked to be soaring at one point, now drops out of the top 5, finds herself in 6th place, and only 1 point ahead of our very own Greensies Lions, with Lisa Scott Leeds dropping out of the top 5 into 8th place. And there is only, you look at 5 points separating 5 from 8th. It could all change with this week with the limited games in the international break. So that's been your league table.
A quick shout out, mate, to Mepham Massive. And is that all right? The person is
that's our own Alex Grace.
Is that Alex Grace? Yeah, a massive shout out to him. 86 game week points, and he had 2 players that didn't play. I mean, I don't know. He must have been drunk when he picked this team, because he picked Jake Cooper as captain, who got 32 points for him. But yeah, look, huge great game week if it is Gracie. With 86, and he was clear of second by 11 points. So yeah, big shout out to him.
Yeah, and he also had Millwall to pick up a result as well, and he got 9 points. And the keeper 11, Dobson got 12, Cooper 32 points. And as you say, Mullin 0 and Chair nothing as well. You could have been looking at a
100 pointer there.
You could be looking at 100 pointer. So look, Gracie, if that's you, mate, well done.
If it's not,
congratulations. If it's not, I mean, Jake Cooper got more points than my entire game week 4. So yeah, it's not good reading for me. But no, well done, mate. Clearly climbed the table with that. But that's been your league table. That's been your team of the week in the league as well, Mr. Grace. Well done to you, and well done for Eze sitting top of the league at the moment. Let's have a look at some fixtures now. For those of you that may be wondering what teams are actually playing this week due to the internationals, I believe we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think it's 13 games that we have on this weekend. Barnsley are at home to Bristol Rovers, Charlton at home to Rotherham United, Wrexham take on Shrewsbury Town, Barrow at home to Swindon, Bradford, Carlisle United, Cheltenham Town take on Harrogate, Chesterfield take on Grimsby, Colchester bring Bromley, newly League 2 side, to Colchester United, Crewe take on Morecambe, Doncaster at home to Gillingham, big game that one, MK Dons, Walsall, Newport County riding high in the league take on Port Vale, and Notts County take on Accrington Stanley. That is your week 5 or game week 5 fixture list going into the week. Ben, thoughts on that fixture list? What are you looking for there?
Yeah, mate, as I say, look, obviously a lot of postponements, international break causing that. So, yeah, not much to choose from. But, yeah, I'm sure it'll be another entertaining week in the EFL for League 1 and League 2. So, yeah, look, we've already picked our teams, haven't we, mate, and games to watch. So, yeah, look, hopefully with the limited games we've got available, I'm sure it'll still be entertaining.
No, exactly, mate. So just for everybody, that is your fixture list for this weekend. Keep an eye on it. Take a look at it. Use it to pick your game week 5 picks. Use it to pick your teams to win this week. Take a look at the previous results. But that's your game week 5 preview. That's your game week 5 fixture list. And that's us pretty much done. There's no Q&A segment this week, mate. It is just me and you. Glad to have you back. It's been good. And any final words from yourself, mate?
No, as I say, mate, stuck with the tried and tested in terms of the formation, all change in terms of the personnel. So see how we get on, and say if I can break into that top 5, I'll be delighted, mate. And yeah, being back on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and good to have you back on. So, yeah, that's it from us. Please do like, please do share, please do subscribe. There is the support and the kind words don't go unnoticed. We do appreciate it, and we love bringing you this content every week. So please drop a like, please drop a share, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our socials, and good luck in game week 5, and we'll see you on the next one.